Welcome to video number 1 of a 3-part series on citing your work. This video is going to tell you all about works cited pages. I've got 3 questions that I hope are answered for you, and they are: 1. What is a works cited page? Why do you even need one? And how do you make one? So a works cited page lists all sources used in your paper. That's basically its purpose. You create one so that you can avoid plagiarism. You get your reader to the original source material. It is the very last page of your paper. Just want to get that out. Just formatting wise, no matter where your conclusion ends, your works cited page is the next page, and it is also the last page of your paper. It also has a specific set of guidelines. In this class we use MLA, or the Modern Language Association, as opposed to Chicago style or Turabian or APA, we use MLA. You need a works cited page because you must give credit where credit is due. That is the mantra for avoiding plagiarism. As I mentioned before, it helps get your reader to the original source material. It also completes what I call the treasure hunt, which I will be talking about explicitly in video number 3. So to make one, and we will go over this in video number 2, but to make one, you will insert a page break. As I mentioned, it's going to be the very last page of your paper. You are also going to title it. It will either be works cited if you just have one source, or works cited if you have more than one source. Now, you don't put the word page on this anywhere. You don't bold this, you do not italicize it, you don't make it pink, you don't do anything to it. Times New Roman, size 12, work or works cited. You will then use OWL to create citations for the sources you've used. Now, this being number 3, I don't personally do this, but you can if this is your system. I'll tell you about that here in a minute. And then number 4, once you have those citations, you will put them in alphabetical order based on the first piece of information, which we will talk about. And then every citation that goes on to a second line is created a hanging indent. A hanging indent is the opposite of what we do with paragraphs. With a paragraph, you indent the very first line, but with a hanging indent, you indent the second, third, and sometimes even the fourth line, so that the top line goes all the way to the left and everything that follows it is tabbed over one time until you get to your next citation. I will show you exactly what I mean by that in video number 2. Now here's my piece of advice that I just mentioned. Creating citations after you've set up your works cited page once you've finished your paper can be a little bit frustrating, and it can also cause a little bit of undue stress. So here is my huge piece of advice. Create citations as you go. You're in your first body paragraph. You've already used 2 sources. Why not go ahead and create those citations, put them on a works cited page, and then make them look good by the time you start editing your paper? It will save you a lot of stress at the end of the writing process, after you've finished all of your writing, to have your works cited page done. It'll make you feel good, let me tell you. So, now in video number 2, I'm going to show you how to use OWL, and then we are going to create a citation for a page on a website with no author, a YouTube video, and an article from an online database, which especially if you are in 1102, you will have to know how to do that. So a few things to note before we actually get there, and maybe a little bit of a helpful slide if you want to just kind of glance through the rest of the videos. All of your citations go in alphabetical order based on the first piece of information. Whenever one citation goes on to a second, third, or even fourth line, you create a hanging indent. Everything on your works cited page and your entire paper is double spaced. I want you to follow OWL's guidelines, meaning we are using the 8th edition of MLA. And then last but not least, only sources cited in the paper should go on to the works cited page. No more and no less. If there is a source inside your paper, I will be able to find it on your Works Cited page. If there is a citation on your Works Cited page, it had better be cited inside your paper. So everything works together. Everything works together. All right, video number 2.